Hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to do the deployment of the portal configurations in the Dynamics from one environment to another environment. So usually when we develop the portals, we will be using some components of the Dynamics entity because the portal is the extension of the Dynamics. So there is a components which will be dependent on the dynamics also. Example, if you want to if you want to use the basic forms or the entity forms on the portal, then we will be using the dynamics entities and its forms to display the fields on the form in the portal. So there is a dynamic solution also which we have to deploy into the another environment. And along with that, on the portal we will do some more configurations like the permissions related configurations, web pages, web roles, and the web links. Lot of things we configure there, and then those portal configurations also we have to move into the another environment for the part of the deployment. So here when we have any dynamics dependent components like the entities, views, those things, then we have to make sure we are deploying those dynamic solution first, and then we will deploy the portal related configurations. So here in the demo for this video, I have created the two portal. My source portal is already I have developed where a small one page I have developed. The web page is using the basic form from the dynamics. That is why I'm deploying the one of the solution from the Dynamics, and the basic form is used inside this web page. And to use this web page, I have created the one page template. Then I have created the web template also in my source environment, I'm saying. And to give the permissions to this basic forms, I have created the one web role, and I have created the entity permissions of this entity. And then to display this my web page on the navigation menu under the home button, there I have created one wave link. So I'm showing you how to deploy those wave links and maximum components, how to deploy that one. Now to perform this deployment activities, I'm using the XrmToolBox Toolbox. And under the XrmToolBox Toolbox, we have a lot of plugins. So one of the plugin is the portal configuration deployer. We can use this plugin to move the solution or configuration components from one environment to the another environment. Along with that, we have portal record mover, a plugin, another plugin on the XM toolbox, which we can also use for the deployment. So here we have to select the environment individual files and export it, then we have to import it. But here in this deployer, we don't need to export any components. There we have to connect the two different environments, and then from the source you have to select what components you have to move and then import it. So I'll show you in the demo of in this video these two components. Now I'm coming to the dynamics. I'll show you first what my portal looks like and what are the components I have used, and then I'll show you the deployment steps I will be performing here. Okay, so I have connected to my source portal. This is the environment 31. This is my source environment where I have developed the portal, Power App portal. And here on the portal, I have configuration. I have configured one page, DNLB create application page. When we click on that, so it will render one form, and this form is coming from the basic form from the entity. So that is why I have used the basic form there. Then I have the web links I have created to display the web page under the home menu. Then then I have given the permissions to myself account. For that, I have created the entity permissions and web roles. So let me show you in the dynamics in the portal management app. Under the portal management app, we can go to the portal management app from here. You can select the portal management app from here for the doing the portal related configurations. So as I mentioned, I have created one web template. This is the my web template under the source environment, that is DNLB application web template. Then under this web template, I have created the page template also. This is the page template, and under the page template I have the web page. So this is the actual web page which will be displaying on the portal. So this is a create application web page. Under this web page, I have the content page for the English language, because for this demo portal I have only one language supporting, so I have one content page for the English, you can see here. So this is the page configurations. Now coming to the secretary role. security permissions here. So I have created the table permission here. So this is the tail permission, DNLB application global. I have given the global access type, and this is for the entity called DNLB underscore application. And for this tail permission is associated to the web role, which is DNLB super user I have created. And I have associated uh, the entity permission table permissions under this web role. You can see here, so I have under this web role I have associated this table permission. So now this this web role is associated to the contact which I have signed in. That is how I have access to load this form. So let me show you this form in the dynamics. So here, this is the solution in the dynamics I have created, where I have created the entity application, and on the form I have created the create form here. And when you open the create form, you can see the layout of the field on the form, and this is the same way it is rendering. So I have application first name last name, and same way it is rendering to the web page also here. So this is the current configuration. Now coming to the web role, how this is a web link, how it is configured under this home button. So for that we will go to the web link set. Under the web link set, for the my portal, I have the primary navigations. It will be coming in the out of the box configurations. When you set up the portal, the primary navigation will come, and under the primary navigations we have the links, and then we are having the under the home links. Since I have placed this web page under the home links, so it is coming under the home. And under the home I have created the child links, which is my actual web page link, which is rendering here. This is the child web link. So when you see here, this is the child web link, and the display order I have given as 4 here. So this is the configurations, and you can see this is pointing to this page which I showed you in the web page. So this is the current configurations of the portal in the source environment. Now, as part of the deployment activity, so as I mentioned before, the first I have to move this solution, because my portal is using the entity form or from the one of the form from the entity in the dynamic. So I have to move this form first into my target environment, and then I have to configure the remaining portal related. So I'll show you the my target instance also, how it is there. So I have connected to my target instance. This is my target instance. I currently, you can see I don't have any web page configured, any page template available here with the name which was present in the source. You can see I don't have any name. And coming to the web link also, you can see under the home, so I don't have any web link here, right? Child web page here. This is my 32 environment, which is nothing but my target instance. And table permission here, you can see. And coming to the web role, I don't have any web role configured here. Okay, so everything is fresh in this environment. So I will be deploying this configurations from my 31st environment to 32 environment, and I'll show you how it will be done. So as I mentioned, I have to export this solution first. So for saving the time, already I have exported. I'm going to import this solution into my target. So this is my target environment. I have been to my solution here. I'm going to import that dynamic solution here first. This is the package which I have exported. I'm selecting this one and then importing into my 32 environment. Okay, so it seems it has deployed the entities into the target environment. So I'll close this. So under this solution, I will have those entity available here. So entities and then applications. Yeah, so my form which I want to use on the portal, it is available onto my target instance. So fine. So one part of the deployment we have completed. Now coming to the second part of deployment, to move those wave roles and permissions. So as I mentioned, I will be using the XRM toolbox, and I will connect to the plugin, that is package portal package deployer. So I'm going to connect to the XRM toolbox now, and I'll show you there. Okay. So you can see I have opened the XrmToolBox Toolbox. So if you don't have XrmToolBox Toolbox downloaded in your system, then I can share the link of this file in my description box of this video. From there, you can download the this toolbox. And when you open this toolbox, so you have to connect the environment first. So but before that, as I mentioned, I will be using the portal configuration deployer plugin. So that plugin you can find when you go to the configuration and tool library. There you can search the portal related plugins, which will help you to make the development of the portal related configurations. So here you can find the portal configuration deployer. Otherwise you can search here portal related here. So here I have, as I mentioned, I'm using this portal configuration deployer, and the portal record mover is the one tool. These two plugins I'm using for the deployer for most of the time, so you can download this one. However, there is another tool called a plugin sorry portal code editor. This is used to make the development, like if you want to do the code change on the web files or web templates, or any code related changes, or any content snippet related changes, any changes if you want to do in the portal, you can use this portal code editor for that. Okay, so here for the deployment purpose, I am using this portal configuration and the portal record mover. So make sure you have installed these two plugin for the of the XRM toolbox in your XRM toolbox, and then you have to click the you have to search the tool called portal here, portal configuration deployer. When you connect that one, by default it will ask you to connect to the source environment. There you can connect to the source environment, and the target environment, which is my 32 environment, is the target environment there where I want to deploy that one. So you can connect both the source and target environment. Then you have to load the items. When you load the items, all the portal related configurations like the entity sorry table permissions, web roles, and the web pages or the web templates, whatever is there, it will be available in your source and the target also. But in the source you will have option to select what you want to deploy, and in the target it will display as a list. You can see in the source I have checkbox enable, which I want to select and deploy. But in the case of target, I don't have any checkbox. There I can verify the things, but I can't select anything here, right? Okay, so as I mentioned in the PPT and there, as I mentioned, I will be deploying the component. So I had the one web template, as I mentioned. So this is my web template I'm selecting, I want to deploy. So one item is selected. Then I have the role, web role. This is the DNLB super user. Then I have web page. So I have the DNLB application create web page. So when I select this one, you can see by default home is selected, and some other components are selected. So what are those, why these are selected? Because if you see the source configuration of the web page, so like in this is the web page of my source environment. This is the web page. So on the web page, I'm using the parent page as a home page. So this home page will be present, this homepage will be present in the target environment also. So this web page is dependent on this file, and this home page is dependent on the page template of default studio template, and this page template is dependent on the web template of default studio template. That is why if you, when you see the home, when you have checked this web page, the home page is selected. Then if you see the page template, the one of the page template, you can see the default studio template is also selected. Now if you see if you see the page template here, yeah, you can see default studio page template selected, and web template of the default studio is selected. So all the dependent of this web page will be automatically selected. So that is the beautiful feature, I would say, because you don't have to find what are the dependent components you have, so it will automatically select for you. You can select that one. Then I have the wavelength set, as I mentioned. So I have DNLB application, and you can see again this is dependent on the home screen, because home page, so that is why it is automatically selected. Then it will select the wavelength set also. This is primary navigation, because the to create the web link of this create application, it was dependent on the primary navigation, so it will be automatically selected. And then if we have any web files, you can select the web files. If you have site setting, you can select. Currently for this deployment I don't have, so I'm not selecting anything here. Now coming to the waveforms, yes, I have one waveform here. uh, I have one waveform which I use for the create application. So as I mentioned in the configuration here, so I have basic form here configured for the create web page. This is how that create form was loading. So create this form was loading. So for this I had created the DNLB application create basic form, and it is using the same entity DNLB application, and the form name is the form name which I display DNLB create application form, which I configure in the dynamics. You can see that that is here. This is the form I have selected. Okay, so here in the portal I have to select the basic form. So entity form, I'll go, and you can see by default application create form is selected. However, these two files are I have created, but it's not selected because I have not used these files on the any web page. That is why these are not selected. But if I want to deploy, I can select it. Okay, so let me select this one for the deployment. Okay, I don't have any content snippet here. So this is all I have for this deployment. But one thing I'm going to say here is that there is no table permissions available here. So however, web role is there, but table permission is not here in the list, and this is what make me little bit disappointed. So for this deployer package, I will be using whatever the components I can find here for the deployment. But for the table permission, I'll show you using the portal record mover how to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to import it. So you can select, I'm going to import it. So when you import, as I mentioned, the page of this web page, it is using the dependent component of the source environment. So you can see I'm selecting the target environment portal. I click OK. One pop-up is coming here, and this is very good. And why it is, because when you develop the portal, you will see when you move the web pages, you can see the home page was automatically selected. So there is a dependencies on on the home page of the web pages. So that home page could be present on the target instance also, right? Because that will come in default. So instead of it directly moving the home page from the source to the target, it is asking you, do you want to update it or keep the target environment home page, or the what are the dependent components were there for the deployment. So you can see I'm having the default page template here, the default studio template, and I want to keep this target because I don't want to move the page template from source to the target, because in the target already that page template is there. So why I want to move that one? So that is why I will not select that one. So I'll keep the target only for the primary navigation also, because primary navigation will come as soon as when we set up the portal. So I don't want to update anything. I'll keep the target. For the home page also, I'll keep the target. Then I have the web template also, I'll keep the target. So there is no change. Then what will happen, it will select the package, but for the deployment, wherever the dependencies was there, it will update the those pages with the target environment. So like on the web page it was dependency was home page, so it will take the home page from the target environment, and then it will set the value there when the after the deployment. So I'm clicking OK now. So it will take some time to deploy. So it's processing now. So web template is deployed, web role is deployed, web page is deploying, web link is deployed, page template is deployed, basic form, I had selected 3 basic form, those three are deployed. So my import is completed. So it will, after the import, it will reload the items again, and it will display you the items which was imported into the target environment. Okay, so I will verify the component. So you can see under the target environment, I have the DNLB application web template available. The web role is also moved. The web page is also moved. The web link is also moved. Now coming to the page template, the page template is also moved. then entity forms. Yeah, those three entity forms are moved. But here, as I mentioned, the missing components are the table permission. But one more missing components you will find here, and the missing component is, let me connect to the target instance and then show you that. You can see here the web page is moved here, right? The web page here, this is the DNLB application create web page, it is moved, but the content page of this web page is not moved. So I'll show you that. So under the web page, this is my target environment. Under the web page, you can see the web page is moved here, but the content page of this web page is not created. So this kind of deployment, sometimes you have to manually create some pages, because there is something we cannot deploy entirely. So in this case, we have to create manually those content pages. So I'm going to create one content page manually into my target instance. If it is not created, then when you go to the portal, the links will be available, but the page will not be rendered. Let me show you that. So this is the portal. I'm going to refresh this now. You can see it is updated, and under the home, my web link, I mean the page web page link is available here. But when I click on this, nothing is rendering, because the content page for the language portal English, it is not available. That is why it will not render for me, because the my target instance is missing the content page. So when I'll create this one, it will happen automatically. So I'm going to create. And you can see the automatically basic form which I want to use is selected, and then that's all. Create it. So content page will be created. It may take 1 or 2 minutes to synchronize the content page under the web page, and when I'll try to reload this, then automatically this page will be rendering then. Still not yet synchronized. Okay, now you can see the page is link is rendering now. Now this is showing I don't have permissions, because I have not yet moved the table permissions, this table permissions which was in my source environment, this one into my target environment. So I'll see the target environment. I don't have table permission available here, so I have to deploy that. So as I mentioned, using the portal configuration deployer, there is no feature to move the table permission. So this is lacking in this deployer tool. But however, we can deploy using the portal record mover. So I'm going to connect the portal record mover now, and I'll show you that. Portal record mover, I'll select this one. Okay, so it is automatically selected, and this environment is selected as 32, which is I don't want. I want the environment 31st 31 to be selected here. And because I need to export the table permission from the 31 and then import into 32. So that is why I'm going to change the connection to 31. Okay, so here now I have connected to the environment 31, and here when you go to the portal record mover, you can see the environment 31 is connected for me. I load the items. You can click the load items. It will load similar how we had in the portal configurations. Same way it will load the components of the my source environment. So you can see everything is loaded, the components. Then I have the table permissions which I want to export and then import into the target. So I'll select the table permission here. Then I will click on the retrieve records. So it will display all the table permissions available in the system. So I want to deploy this one. So I will clear all the selections, select the particular application uh, global edit table permissions, and I want to export only this one. So I'm going to export this file and name it Okay, so it is exported successfully, and it will be as XML file. So when you open that XML file, you will see it will have the all the details of that table permissions are like what are the privileges we have selected. So you can see I have given the privilege read, write, create, delete, append to all the things it will have in the XML file. So it is exported now. So I will use the is import record to import this XML file into my target, but before that I need to connect this dynamics to my target instance here, to this XML toolbox to with my target 32 environment. Okay, so now here I have connected the XRM toolbox with my target environment 32. So I'm going to use this import record button to import that XML file which I exported from the environment 31, which was the table permission. So I'll select this import record, browse the file imported, sorry, exported, then select this import into the import file and then click on import. There you have to select the target portal where you want to deploy. So usually when you have more than two portal enabled for your dynamics, then you will be specifying which portal you want to deploy. So you have to select the portal here, then click OK. And then if you there is already, when any deployment happens, then log will be already created. So if you want to create the new logs for that, for the deployment activities, so you can select yes. Okay, so here the table permission is now imported. So to verify that one, I'll go to the my target environment. So this is 32 target environment table permissions and refresh it. Now you can see the table permission is imported. Now I have to associate this table permissions to the web role which I imported DNLV super user here. I'm going to add under the table permissions. Okay, so it is added now. So now I have to associate this wave role to the user which I have signed in here. So this is the my user. Under this user, I need to sign in the table this wave role. That is how then I'll get permissions to edit and to the global anything I want to do with this entity privilege. Then I will have access. Otherwise, it will be showing me that I don't have appropriate permissions here. So try to reload this again, see if I can access, but not. I'll not be able to access because that permission is missing to my account. So I'll go to the contacts now. So I have under security, I have contacts. Okay, so now under the contact, I can search the my contact here. Okay, so under the contacts, I can have the active contacts. I can go to the view active contacts and then I can search the my contact here. Okay, so this is my contact. Open this contact, then we can go to the related, then wave roles, and then under the wave roles I need to associate the particular DNLB super user wave roles over here. So I have selected it and added to this contact. So through this contact I'm trying to log into the portal. So now I have the wave role associated, and under this wave role I have the privilege of the application entity. So I will be able to load the create form. Okay, now you can see it is loaded successfully. So this is how you can perform the deployment of the portal related configuration. So I hope this video was useful to you, and if you have any doubt, any questions on the deployment related, please let me know. And thank you for watching this video, guys.